Hello everyone. Welcome to the very first podcast of WAI Involve Network. I'm Rakesh Vartak, the CEO of WAI Technologies, and I'm very excited to kick off this incredible journey with all of you. To help us launch this community, we are honored to have two distinguished guests with us today. We have Ram Pazhayannur. Welcome, Ram.
Pleasure being here.
Ram is the founder and CEO of SnoozeFit, a healthcare company focusing in sleep diagnosis and improvement. He's also a cryosurgery researcher, having done his studies from the University of Minnesota, USA, back in 1996. Ram is also a holder of 3 US patents and has several research publications to his credit. Ram is also a faculty at Gokhale Institutes of Politics and Economics, where he teaches sales as a part of Second Orbit program. And our second guest is Amit Oturkar. Welcome, Amit. Amit has 23 years of diverse multi-sectoral experience in infrastructure and consulting and government advisory across sectors such as urban and rural development, sustainability, and economic development. Amit was a partner with KPMG before starting his own consulting venture, Oturkar Advisory Services. Right. Amit has worked with central, state, and local government bodies in India and the USA. So welcome, Ram. And welcome, Amit. It's an honor to have you here. And thank you very much for helping us to inaugurate this network community. Start with a question, Ram, to you. With your experience in sales, and as WAI Technologies, we have attended the Second Orbit cohort. We learned a lot of things from you. What I would like to understand that when we talk about go-to-market, one of the aspects of go-to-market is all about presenting yourself, creating reach and connect. Do you think a community like WAI Involve will help in forming this reach?
It's a very good question, Rakesh. And first of all, it's a pleasure being here. This is a fabulous setup that you have done. And it's a very unique thing that an IT organization has taken the time and effort to set something like this up. So I haven't seen this in many technology companies. So it's something that you guys are pioneering, and I wish you all the very best for this. Look, at the end of the day, it's all about knowledge. People don't buy products, people buy solutions. And this is a very good medium to basically articulate what's the problem that you're trying to solve and what are the ways you can solve this problem. And audio, video, podcasts is the next level of communicating that to the end customer. The ability to connect with a large sector of people is now available through this medium that you have. So I think it's going to be a very powerful medium, highly underutilized in my opinion. There's a lot of noise in the market in terms of content. The challenge is always going to be for organizations like yours who's trying to run this is how do you declutter the whole thing and how do you get the message to the right community? I think that's going to be the critical thing. So creating the right content and delivering it to the right set of audience is going to be something that, if you're able to do that successfully, I think the sky's the limit in terms of what this can offer you. So, that's my...
That's quite insightful. Amit, what do you think about this?
I completely concur with what Ram said. I mean, I think the crux over here is, exactly that how do you leverage this platform and having such kind of a platform. So I think this platform, We Involve, is, I think, really fantastic because you can leverage this to collaborate minds, understand issues beyond what we do in our regular day-to-day business, open insights, and also invite thoughts, from the public at large, because ideas can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's really insightful. And obviously I agree with you because the purpose of creating this community network is not just talking about technology, not just talking about why, but okay, we have our own take on how we approach the market. But to bring people together from different areas of business, right? Example, Ram, you guided us through this entire Second Orbit cohort on the Rockstar and the sales machinery, and we have started seeing success in by following those methodologies. However, it's interesting that when we connected with you, and also in your introduction, I mentioned that you have your own business. You're into wellness, you're into sleep engineering, if I may call that. You also do your own consulting. But coming back to the subject of wellness related to sleep, How important do you think that is in the context of business success?
When people ask me this question, I kind of throw it back to them and ask them, if sleep was not necessary, God wouldn't have made us sleep. There's obviously something in this that we are missing, right? And in today's world, when we have a lot of things to juggle, you have professional and personal obligations to fulfill, you just have X number of hours in a day, the first thing that people compromise is sleep. And that's where it builds up over time. So what we are trying to do through SnoozeFit is to balance your body's need for recovery through sleep with your professional and personal obligations. So what we provide you as an outcome of the sleep engineering program that you go through us is a sleep signature. So it's analogous to your blood type. When you're born, the first thing you do is get your blood tested, right? To determine what your blood group is. As adults, I encourage people to get their sleep signature done once, because everybody's body in terms of its needs and the recovery is very unique. And what we provide you is that signature which is very specific to you. So it tells you what is your body's recovery needs and what is the duration of sleep that you need to hit the optimal recovery. Now, if you know that, it's better off, you can then adjust your schedules around it so that you're getting that bare minimum recovery. Because what we tell people, it's not about being under-recovered one day and over-recovering the other day, because you can't bank sleep. What you sleep today is what you get. And if you have a deficit, it's going to hit you today. You can't accumulate sleep and say, I'm going to consume it during the week. That's a fallacy that, many people have. So we do a lot of things in the engineering program. We first educate people on the importance of sleep. We give you a sleep signature. And then we look at your schedules and requirements and optimize it for your needs. So that's essentially what we're trying to do. Now, why is it necessary? Now, the whole objective of that is if your body and mind is recovering, you're going to be more productive as an individual. Productivity gain is going to help you basically perform better as an individual. It will help your organization, and it also helps you as an individual. And sleep is that missing link, which is the most critical when it comes to recovery. So that's what we are trying to do through sleep engineering.
Very interesting. So, I have a question, Ram. So, different people have different patterns, or the way, the time they get to bed, the time they get up. So some people are early risers, some people are not early risers. But, you keep hearing since childhood,
Early to bed
and early to rise, right? So is that scientifically true, or if someone's just built to be a night person, to stay up late and work in the night and then rather get up, is that okay?
No, that's a fantastic question. In fact, this is the first thing that we talk when I go and give talks in schools. I say that children require about an hour and a half to 2 more sleep than adults. And there are 2 profiles of sleep. You can be an early bird and night owl. Early birds are people who sleep early, wake up early. Night owls are people who sleep late and wake up late. And unfortunately, all the schools in India start at around, your bus comes at 7, you've got to be in school like 8. And children are just not getting enough sleep, because the second half of the sleep is almost curtailed in many situations. Not because of the child's problem. It's what I've realized is that the parents are working, and the only time they get to spend with their children is late evenings. And that messes up with the sleep schedules of the child. The child is not fresh next day morning. So we have this conversation with the principals of the schools, asking them, why do you need to start your school at 8? Why can't it start at 10? It'll beat traffic also, but it's a losing battle.
So very interesting. So you said you already, have conversations with different schools. So you're saying that beyond the technology platform that you run and the solution that you run, you are also looking at engaging and creating the market, and also trying to educate the market by saying that, hey, this is actually how it is. It's not necessarily that the hypothesis of early to bed and early to rise is necessarily correct.
Absolutely, because
interesting.
Yeah, so we've got to do both. We've got to do the tech as well as the knowledge part, and that's why I feel the forums like this is going to be very, very powerful. If you're able to get the message out to the right people. That's the whole purpose of having these kind of.
I learned something today, and I'm sure everyone learned something today.
Oh,
And I
learned
hope the
something.
principals are listening.
No, I certainly learned something today because I was taking sleep for granted and was kind of, I kept cursing my lifestyle for the lack of sleep and what happens the next day. Everybody knows what happens the next day. But I'm going to get in touch with Ram. Now I want to come to you, Amit.
Sure.
And I want to connect something to that's very close to our heart. That is WAI, right? And by the end of this decade, the objective, the primary goal of WAI Technologies is to be able to influence at least 10,000 lives, specifically from the tier 3, tier 4 and rural areas. And we want to do that through technological enablement, right? Now, it's not about employing 10,000 people. It's about creating the technical enablement so that we are able to empower this large community to be able to deliver global solutions. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this through experience. We have a significant large chunk of team members today who have emerged from this rural community. We have actually seen them outperforming let's say developers or team members from the urban community, because they probably are driven by stronger passion than their urban counterparts. Now, and when I'm kind of sharing this long-term vision of WAI, owing to your background in having consulted government organizations as well as private organizations on this aspect, what would you recommend for someone like WAI? I'm sure that like WAI Technologies, there are other organizations who are looking at making some transformational impact, but keeping specific focus on this particular objective. What would be your ideation, your recommendations for a company, for an organization like WAI to take this forward?
So, to be honest, if that is the vision that you have, that's the impact that you want to make, that you want to be able to reach out to the rural areas, empower them and enable them. Obviously, I mean, it's a win-win situation. You get good, passionate resources who are ready to learn and deliver your solutions, probably at a lesser rate than what, you get someone in the urban area, and especially with today's low-code, no-code kind of things, it makes it much easier. And logic and brains are just available in abundance everywhere, right? It's just a matter of unleashing the strength. And I think you should also look at taking this proposition to the government. The government is looking at solutions like this, and if you are asking for nothing more than saying, hey, can you give me a space, at a concessional rate? Can you help promote this? Can you help me identify good people to work for? Okay, the government will be more than happy to support you.
That was very important because you brought up that point. But how do you think? I mean, in your current exposure, do you see low code or no code solutions being used by organizations pretty effectively, and how do you see that?
So just last week, one of my clients actually wanted such kind of a solution, because he said that from their master client, the requirements keep changing literally every month. So the format in which they need the data, the format in which we need to communicate keeps changing every month. And if you build these web data portals or whatever that are there to be able to, for field level to, enter data and then push it forward, he said, I want it customizable. And that is where I think, in such a situation where people can change their reporting formats very easily, it does wonders. I can say that surely is great because it empowers the client, to be able to do that. Ram, your experience having worked with, several organizations, what do you think about this?
No, I think it's a no-brainer, right? That's where the industry is going, and I think it is going to be the next transition in software development, is people using frameworks and platforms as opposed to developing everything from scratch. And I think it's here to stay.
And like we spoke earlier also, right? Ultimately, what is it? It's about trying to solve a problem. Now, if you're providing any technology, really nobody cares about what is being used to be able to solve that, as far as it's efficient, it's flexible, and it's fast.
Sure. So my last question is going to be for Amit. And Amit, you have extensively worked in the sustainability infrastructure areas. How do you see technology helping organizations to guide through this sustainability and infrastructure maze, if I may call that? I mean, I'm giving example of us, WAI Technologies, and currently we are not really thinking about sustainability or connected infrastructure in any way. So how do you see technology solutions guiding us through that?
Technology is a given. Today, technology and infrastructure, no infrastructure is built without technology. You've seen that develop over a period of time, how technology has come in. Every piece of infrastructure that's done, right from your GIS to GPS to, let's say, any kind of monitoring that have to be done with your IoT sensors, with huge command and control centers running to manage huge city operations or data, national data centers, etc. So all of this, even health, the way it is being monitored. So technology is a given. Now, sustainability, if you're talking about sustainability and infrastructure, then you're talking about saying that while you do this, how can you also be sustainable? Now, and then comes the interconnected question about how do you bring sustainability into, your technology? So, if you understand the way that world has tried to break up, sustainability. First of all, let me come back and say what is sustainability. So sustainability is on three pillars, right? One is the environment, second is social, and third is the economic part of it. So obviously you need to consider everything, and especially from an environment perspective, how do you reduce your carbon footprint? So are your data centers more efficient? Is the technology development that you're doing, in a much more efficient way? So there are several factors that you look at. The people that who come and work with you, can you reduce their footprint, carbon footprint? Several energy efficiency factors that need to be brought in. And today, it's more than the environment. It's also looking at the social part, the whole ESG parlance that's there, saying that, okay, do you have the right policies to take care of your people? What are you giving back to the society? So you look at all these parameters, and I think this rural initiative you spoke was exactly about how you give back to the society in an economical way that also benefits you. So is there some kind of, a marriage over there that you're trying to make happen? So I think thinking it's more about doing business more responsibly and more sustainably. And that's why the Indian government has called its ESG, ESG in India is under the framework of BRSR, which is business responsibility. And that is exactly why, the government has started saying, okay, top companies start reporting. And then further on, they're increasing their net by getting more companies in. So now for those reportings to happen, the way the audit companies have, forwarded themselves and started using technology platform to conduct audits, a lot of platforms are today now being built, to take care of these BRSR reportings. A lot of process optimization, a lot of instrumentation is now being put in place to monitor several data points which are not even thought of, be it again from an environmental perspective, etc., to collect this data over a period of time, understand their footprint and think about what they can do to reduce it. So technology in infrastructure on the sustainability space is huge. In fact, the world over has put together funds to fund new technologies, which will help reduce the climate impact. So that's very important.
That I think that answers the question logically, because organizations like us, are, apart from making an impact in the community, we also want to do it sustainably, right? And that's a big learning. So we will certainly call upon you to guide us through and set the path for us.
My pleasure.
In terms of how can we be more responsible and sustainable while we are making this impact on the regional or rural community. Well, I want to really thank Ram, you, and Amit, you, for both being and honoring us with your presence.
Pleasure.
It was really, really insightful. Both very diverse topics, but something that we, continuously never think, but must be a part of our what you call behavior and the way forward. But so thank you very much for making it here and gracing this occasion and making this first Why Involved podcast a success. So thank you very much. So that's it, folks. This is the first podcast to go and many more to come. Thank you very much.